The imbalances. In this chapter, I want to show you how I am drawing the imbalances. I call this as imbalance pool without using the real volume, and this is also my answer why sometimes price reject not from zone like demand or supply, but bit below or above. I prefer to use this on M15 time frame, and I observed that when some previous high or low is broken, there are very high chances that the opposite side of the market didn't have enough time to react. So I mean here, when we have a lower high, as in this small move, it was broken by this one candle. Yes, it means that when the candle was growing up, was somewhere here, yes, in this area, which could look like for beginner trader with supply and demand as a small supply because of indecision and leg out, if this could be drawn without understanding. So the price came here and broke it. So it could be very strong, fast move. So any sellers didn't react here. There were only buyers. And I am drawing this from week to the week, from previous candle to the another one. Yeah, so it means that only buyers were here in this part of the candle. And what is important, I definitely prefer to mark the imbalances, the imbalance pools at the beginning of the wave, not in the middle or at the end, just in the beginning when there was any first opportunity. So here, if I would draw my demand zone, the price rejected twice without being in this demand. So it could be like a sign that he was definitely bigger order placed to break the structure than something left on the demand zone. So in this case, I would leave this. Of course, this is the same rule as with drawing supply and demand. More touches or more retest can make the pool weaker and weaker, and at the end not valid. Let's take another example. Here was the pullback, and price made definitely big, fresh, higher high. So when this candle was breaking this previous lower high, also could be drawn in the lower time frame as a supply. These 2 weeks didn't match together. Yeah, so in this small period of time, there were any sellers, just a big push by buyers. I drew this here, two zones close to each other, because also here I found break the cleaner high, and also these 2 weeks didn't meet. I mean the meeting of weeks, like here for example, we see the move to the down and to the up, and this indecision candle pin bar meet with the previous one, with this. So here was an imbalance, or if was, which we could see only on the with the real volume, was already filled, because when the candle opened, who knows if here at the top of this engulfing candle were any imbalance. It was automatically filled by another. So these 2 weeks from the candle before and the last one matched together. They were touching, yes, they were feeling this big candle. But here it didn't happen. So later we can see filling of these two imbalances. Next example. Here also we have created the demand zone, and price price. The candle was breaking the previous lower high with very big move. Also the volume was increasing. This is also important while looking for the imbalances. There need to be high volume, which means so big pressure to break the previous high or previous low. And also I marked that in this area, from this part of the candle to this one, anything was filled. So here could be the imbalance. And once again, it was the beginning of the wave. Here by the red box, I also marked some imbalance field, but I would avoid looking for imbalances without real volume and footprint chart in the middle of wave or somewhere later. It is definitely safer to look for imbalances above demand or below the supply zones. The next thing I want to admit is that please avoid to mark too big boxes. This one is, in my opinion, very big, played well, but bigger box can mean waiting forever or even later miss the opportunity, because bigger boxes more pips to watch. There's bigger move to watch. I prefer very tiny boxes like this one. Boxes, I should say pools. But here also it was a logic, yes. The previous lower high was broken by impressive candle. The volume was still increasing. This one candle broke even two highs, the previous highs. So it could mean that somewhere between this part of the big candle to this, when the last week appeared as last sellers, yes, with this small wick to the downside, there were any sellers in this period of time. So once again, price rejected without touching the demand, which could be drawn here, yes, from this candle as a base could be drawn the demand. And there are plenty of imbalances. Please just remember that the beginning of any wave is a really great part, the safer one. Yes, here also would be the imbalance. Price didn't react. No one has any interest of this price level. And take also a look that longer you need to wait, it makes lower chance that is really still valid to be filled. Here also the beginning of beautiful big wave with definitely fresh high, big break of structure, and this was here the beginning. These wicks didn't match. Yes, a very tiny box, and this is sorry, this is the next example how to do the markups. Yes, we have the key levels, also support and resistance, we have supply and demand, and the imbalance is like the last thing I would draw on my charts. It's even better when the imbalance pools matched with the key level or are a bit above the supply or demand or below the supply. So it is like more confirmations. Even more confirmations are better for us, but you can choose what to focus, of course, to not have too much mess on the chart. Someone would prefer only key levels based on volume. The others would trust only Asian highs and lows. Even the others, to make it very safe, would like to watch the price action only on the supply and demand from bigger zones. But this all things combined together are really the powerful tool if used correctly. Here I just drew the small demand zone, and what I would be aiming for. Yes, the older me would aim for this high. Yes, if for any reason I would find the entry during the Asian session from this demand, the old me would aim really for here, but now I know, yes, we cannot forget that we are scalpers, and we don't need to catch so big waves as 30, 50, 60 pips or even more. It's just the safe area. If you cannot find when buying the first supply on the way, which is not so far, you can focus on the imbalance. And here, for example, it could be from the higher edge of this demand, like save almost 20 pips. It sounds so small, but really 18 pips is 1 to the 6. It's a really big move to catch without stress. But about emotions, I will talk at the end of this course. Also here, it was just the top of the wave, and of course I wouldn't draw the imbalance so fast. Maybe somewhere here or here when I would be looking for TP while thinking about buying, not aiming really for the top, but for the first possible imbalance after change of structure. Here could be also drawn like, sorry for red box, like the last demand on top, which was broken even by supply, but I would also have in my mind that here is the imbalance pool with safety P as a lower edge of this imbalance pool while buying. This is one of the hardest markups to draw on the chart. Easiest are definitely the key levels with volume or Asian high and low, but these are very useful. And yeah, I found this when I was looking for explanation why when I have demand I'm looking for a buy and price is rejecting like 15 pips above my demand. It was for me crazy, and I just noticed that we are able to find imbalances without real volume to watch the price action. And as I mentioned before, when I was talking about key levels, it is safer for beginner traders in our group to use this as a TP, to not aim with any kind of grid like a zone to the zone, but zone to the imbalance pool, or zone to the key level, or zone to the Asian high-low. These are the safest places in my mind where we can expect rejection. Even if not, you are safe. Yes, you banked your profits. Of course, we are not looking here for 5, 8, 10 pips waves, but these distances are perfect. So I understand that really sending me homework about this imbalance pools is very, very difficult, but please try to make it, and don't try really to avoid making big pools like this one. It worked, I'm happy, good example, but it's too big. The tiny, these are the better. It's like small part of the candle where the seller didn't appear when it was the bullish wave. Check this, try this. You can find this also in the higher time frames or lower. I just found this useful on the M15. Same as key levels, I prefer to draw them on M30. Zones on H1. These are my preferences. It don't need to feed you, but try to follow me, and yeah, let's go further to the liquidity lesson.